Okay,
Wow.
please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Whoops.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, it is 8 o'clock. Okay, meeting called to order, we need approval of the agenda.
Roll call.
Jenny David. Roger Mayhew,
Yes.
Charles Wiltie,
Here.
Brenda Simmons,
Here.
Craig Scott.
Here.
I
I'll make
thought-
a motion to approve the agenda. Did you want some?
Oh, I want some
You
additions
wanted
on it.
some millage questions put on?
Yes, on new business under C. Need to vote on the Veterans EMS Commission on Aging. You know, if there's any others, Commissioner Scott?
You want to talk about EMS equipment? Is that still a millage gonna happen?
Yeah, for August, I believe.
Yeah.
EMS equipment? Is there any other?
Can I see this?
Veterans, you said?
As I said, veterans,
Okay.
veterans EMS,
All right, I'll make a motion to,
and wait,
oh.
and we need to have intent for the county Headley.
Right, so I got 4 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5.
We'll go with your list.
No, I got 4. I'm sorry. EMS. I have 4 also.
Flip the page over. I'll make a motion to accept it with additions.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. We need a declaration of conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest here today?
So far, I'm not.
No, I have none.
Commissioner Mayhew? I do not either. I need a review of the minutes for March 28th, 2024.
I looked them over. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second? I'll support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Review the minutes for April 4th, 2024. Can we have a whole meeting?
I've read the minutes.
I'll support.
Brenda, did you get an agenda from the table? There's the closed meeting from March 28th that's not on there that got
Right.
updated after.
I just noticed that because I have the closed meeting right here. Thank you. I'm glad you reminded me to put it on the front burner. Do we have a motion and a support on that?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the closed meeting minutes from March 28th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the closed meeting minutes.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Would you like the copy of these closed minutes back?
Signed, yep.
I'll sign them back, okay. Sorry for the hold up. I better do it before I forget. Is there any public comment on agenda item matters only? Any public comment? Any public comment on Zoom? Agenda items only. No public comments? Correspondence. So we have meeting minutes from Osaba Valley. And meeting notice from Osaba Valley. We also have Crawford County Materials Management. Their meeting minutes also from March 1st and April 5th. Anyone have any comments on those minutes that from these 2 agencies?
Well, I do.
Okay,
I think I was a little hesitant to go with that Isabella materials management plan because my question was there something else gonna come available, and here it is. It's to the north rather than the south. So but I think we've already committed ourselves, have we?
What we did was we told Isabella we would participate with them, but Isabella made great strides to tell us that this isn't absolutely committing us to working with them. It's just to explore this regional concept that they were looking at. I also recall reading something in the statute, and of course, this letter just came. I haven't had a chance to follow up on it, but I think we can participate with more than one region. And if that's the case, I think it would be beneficial to also participate with this group because that opens up the avenues both north and south. So meaning the way the statute was structured in the first round anyway, these plans that were put together, if your county wasn't mentioned in another county's plan, that in effect meant you could not use facilities in that area. You had to stick with what was in your plan. If we're a part of two plans, that means we could go north or south. I don't know how big this other region is, but it's NEMCOG, so it's probably a pretty large region to the north. It might benefit us to be part of both of those plans. That doesn't necessarily commit us to doing anything on the ground, but it just says if the opportunity came up to use facilities, like you've mentioned waters in the past, this might open up that avenue to make that available to us too. So let me do a little bit more research on that and come back maybe at the Cal meeting next week with a little bit more background.
I know that too, and it looks like NEMCOG behind this one.
Right, yeah.
So,
I have a comment.
yes, go ahead.
I think with how early we are in the phases of this, and like you said, not like we made a full commitment to Isabella and no other partners involved. Could we see if maybe Paul Campo or Nico Tucker would come talk to us?
Sure, yeah.
Can actually come to committee as a whole meeting next week. If they could,
As soon as possible.
so we get this rolling.
Recall that we have until July, like early July, to make the absolute commitment. And I bring that up because next week's Cal is pretty full.
It is?
It is.
We have the conversations for the park, right? Next week.
Yes, that's on there, and there'll be a closed session for collective bargaining. A few other appointments that I already know are there, so, but we can squeeze it in, just depends on how late you want to be here.
Well, I don't want to run them short either.
Yeah, I mean, that's an important conversation. Why don't we see if we could do the first COW meeting in May, if possible?
Yeah.
I think the big thing that they were looking at, that was that $60,000 allocation from the state
Right.
per county. If you tell them one bunch that yes, and then you turn around and say, well, we'd like to join with them. Well, I don't think they're very happy that you're gonna take 30 grand from them and.
Well, that's the price of doing business.
Well, okay.
I think it's.
No, but this is in Grayling, and it's
Well, I
Northern
know,
Michigan more familiar with this area than, let's say, Isabella County would be.
Sure. On the other side of that coin, though, Isabella County's gonna have that recycling processing that they do that I don't think anybody between there and Petoskey does. I'm not sure there's anything on the northeast side that does
Yeah.
anything like that.
We need to
Those are
find,
things that we want to take a look at.
it's more northwesterly, but Kalkaska, there's a dirty MRF, where they dump the trash right in and separate it from that point. That was all American Waste. Now GFL, of course, but
Mhm.
anyway, okay, let's talk to the other players.
okay. And there is someone in Kalkaska. Do you think this group would be part of Kalkaska too?
Yeah.
Grayling's pretty close to
Yeah, we'll
Kalkaska.
see. It might be part of this. We'll find out.
Okay, all right. So committee is a whole meeting on the first one in May. Okay. Okay. Any other comments about our correspondence?
No.
No.
Consent agenda. We have three things on the consent agenda, resolution to accept a quote from portable bus wash system, resolution to accept a quote for the heavy duty lift system, and a resolution to amend the calendar year 2024 meeting schedule.
I don't have a problem consenting to A and B. but I want C to be separate.
Okay,
I'm fine with that.
okay, we'll discuss C then.
So I'll make a motion to consent agenda lines A and B, resolution to quote for portable bus wash and resolution to accept quote for heavy duty lift system. I'll make that motion.
Is that a second?
I'll support.
You have to have a roll call on that?
There's money,
Spending money.
yeah, yep.
Okay,
Dr. Mayhew. Roger,
Yeah,
Charles Wiltie.
Yes.
Brenda Simmons.
yes,
Craig Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Delahanty, would you like to discuss the calendar year 2024 meeting schedule adjustment?
Yes, there's several moving parts in this resolution, and I'll be very candid with you. I'm not sure I got the intent right. So let's, through each of these components, make sure that it's correct. The first part of this would move the start time of our first two meetings from 8 a.m. till 5:30, and that would start with the May 2nd committee of the whole meeting. So all of our meetings would be 5:30 from that point forward. The second part of this would be to move the meeting location from here back over to the county building in the board meeting room at 5:30. Obviously, the second meeting of the month would also be at 5:30. So your first committee of the whole, your first regular meetings would be at 5:30. All meetings would be at the county building. At least that's what I remembered from the
Yeah.
conversation, so.
I have a comment. I mean, our meetings are usually held over the commissioners' chambers until we've been here. And I'll probably move back there, but I've become very comfortable with having it here, and I like this setup here where we're all like this, rather than having to look way down and way down. But that's not my decision to make. So wherever the commissioners would like to have that meeting, I'd be,
Let me clarify one other point as I'm reading the dates down here. The movement or the location change, according to this resolution, would start with your next meeting next week. So April 18th, April 25th would also be over there.
that's right.
Everything 5:30. That's what this says. Now, it's obviously something that's up for discussion, so any of this can change at your pleasure.
Mr. Wiltsey, how do you feel about moving back over the commissioners' chambers?
I mean, I do like that room better.
Okay.
And I do like the fact, that there is security there, but yet also, so now we're gonna be increasing our costs, because we're gonna have to have building security again for our evenings. I mean, I'm comfortable here as well. I thought last week with our conversation, which obviously you guys know my feeling on this topic. I thought it sounded like we were gonna stay here because we didn't want to add additional costs for security.
It makes sense.
And ultimately, yes, I would like to be over there. I think that's where we should be. But, I mean, times are tough and
I understand.
it's gonna be,
That was one of my first
expensive
thoughts.
right now,
That was one of my first thoughts. Mr. Scott?
Well, I like the consistency that we've had this morning and evening setup since I've been here, and
Go ahead and say it.
well, because Jenny's not here, and it appears it's gonna be a tied vote. And that means it fails. So, I don't wanna mix politics into this thing, but rules are rules, and that's how I think it's gonna come out. This time, now, maybe in 2 weeks, you wanna change it again.
Mr. Mayhew, wanna leave it to the afternoon?
I'm for the afternoon and I don't care where it's at. I just know that the ladies here, some of them are worried about security and that option's open.
You mean over there?
Right,
Yeah.
if they're worried about it, it's either way. So,
And I'm for the 5:30 meeting also. And I'm comfortable either way.
well, I'd like to make one more comment. Obviously, again, like I said last weekend, I've said in the past, consistency is very important. This topic's been a yo-yo, and it's, to me, it's very frustrating because we have all of these major items going on in the county, the financial issues that we have, and we're spending time and energy on this. So if we do a 2-2 vote today, what are we gonna do in 2 weeks? It's gonna be brought up again. Hopefully, all commissioners then at the next meeting to vote, and then it's gonna change back to 5:30. So, I mean, ultimately, I might as well just vote yes, so we can put this to bed and we can focus on things that are important.
Okay, but it also stated that the last time when we switched it to this early in the morning, we also caveated that we'd address it in a couple of months. And now here's the address, and we also on this one caveated that we address it again in another 2 months. So I'd like to see how it's gonna work, first of all, at the 5:30 meeting. And if we don't like it, we can go back. My thoughts, but then we'd have to have the meeting here. So we have a meeting here and then 2 meetings at the other place. Your thoughts, Commissioner Wiltie?
Consistency, we should be meeting in the same place.
So it'd be here.
I'm fine with that as long as everybody feels safe. I want everybody to feel safe.
I feel safe because you're here.
Well, thank you.
No, I do feel safe here. Go ahead.
You're gonna be adding expenses if you do it over there.
I know
The
that.
secure, I mean, you. and
That was my first thought.
consistency, Yeah, you're gonna be, if you move it back over there, you're gonna be adding more expenses.
But I think people are used to coming here.
We'll be putting signs up, yeah.
Okay,
I feel safe over here.
I do too. I like to keep it here. I like this setup better than looking way down.
If they're all at night, I think this is a.
And when we have
place.
people wanting to talk to the commissioners, they sit right here and right in front of us and talk to us. So we're actually talking to them. It's not like they're standing at a podium in the back and it's like we're all staring at them.
I can hear you guys better this way too,
I can too.
because I am deaf on this ear.
Can I make one more
And I don't have a
comment?
hearing aid.
I'm deaf in both ears. I have two.
Commissioner, can I make?
Yes,
For the betterment of the county, I'm gonna vote yes on this so we can move forward
okay,
because I am completely sick and tired of talking about this topic.
okay,
It's not right to anybody. We need consistent meetings. Let's go to 5:30s. Let's have our meetings. Let's do what's best for the town.
okay. Okay. Let's put this up for a vote.
Just
Resolution to amend the
Make a
calendar.
motion, make a motion first.
I'll make a motion.
That's what I said, didn't I?
To just, to
Well-
keep it here.
I'd
That means-
make a motion to keep the meetings here and to move forward with the new
5:30.
time slots for 5:30 every Thursday.
Any discussion, any more discussion?
need a second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
What's
We
missing?
wanted to make sure we had a second, but it sounds like we do.
Yeah, we did. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. All
Yes.
opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Okay, motion passed. New business. Legalization you are up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Andy.
I don't know if everyone and Tim was able to forward to report to everyone.
106 pages.
I didn't get it to him till about 5 o'clock last night, so it was pretty,
I haven't got through all 106 pages yet.
and everything's tentative. The state changed how we do everything this year, so everything has to be submitted online by the assessors. Then I have to approve it, and then it goes back, they have to sign them, so all of the 22s are not signed by the assessors and that. I mean, the figures are good, it's just it'll be another week or so before we get everything approved through the state. But today is a motion for the resolution for equalization. The equalized values for the county this year are gonna be $1,631,554,922. Which is sizable increase. It's about a 15.72% increase.
As far as property values go, you mean?
Yes.
What was that number again?
It's right here.
1,631,554,922. The taxable value this year is 1,111,548,929. And that's 7.53% increase this year over last year. Both these numbers a little misleading because disabled veterans exemptions are handled differently this year. They're gonna be a tax adjustment, so the disabled veterans, there's about, last year, a little over $10 million that's included in the assessments that last year would have been out of there, but it's pretty close.
Oh, hell. Oh, yeah, credit? Tax credit?
No, what they're going to do is instead of being zeroing out their assessments for the year, they're gonna keep their assessments and it'll be zeroed out on the tax bill, so it's a different way of doing it. Before that, we've been putting those values on, then when the veterans file, we remove it from the assessment rolls.
Okay.
And it's a tax exemption, so the state changed policy on how best to administer them last year, so it's gonna be an adjustment on the taxes, not on the assessment.
Oh, okay.
Given some statistics, some charts in here that, like I say, it's a lot to try and digest in one night and go through. I apologize, but, I was worried Friday when I spoke with Tim. I wasn't sure I'd be able to have this for this morning's session, but, we were able to finalize with the last assessor Friday night and get everything submitted, so
That was a squeeze
it
with the
was.
assessors.
It was, it's, like I say, they kind of changed how we do this at the end of the year, and so there's a lot of confusion amongst some of the assessors and added some delays.
Make a motion.
Yes, someone would need to make a motion.
We need to make a motion, to accept this.
I'll make a motion that we accept this.
Yeah, second.
Do you have to have roll call on this? Probably not.
Yes, it's a resolution.
What was that money?
It's a lot of money.
It's a just-
Most money we're talking.
Let's do a roll call anyways. Yeah, we're not spending money, but it's money.
Well, we're gonna spend.
Charles Wiltie,
Yes.
Brenda Simmons.
Yes,
Craig Scott.
Yes.
Roger Mayhew.
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
I know you had a rush.
Questions, you can stop by my office and we'll go over.
All right.
that.
I do have questions, but it's not about this and I will be over.
Okay.
Thank you, Randy.
Well, Madam Chair, before you hit the next item, I had a discussion with the prosecutor's office yesterday and they asked me to estimate about what time AB would come up on the agenda. We settled on 8:30, so it may be about 7 minutes before the prosecutor's here. So if you want to go on to your 8C, they take care of that first, and I'm sure the prosecutor will be here after that conversation.
C is about putting things on the millage, okay. Before the meeting started this morning, we had 4 items that we'd like to put on the August ballot. And that's the veterans, renewal of the veterans millage, EMS equipment millage, renewal of the Commission on Aging millage. And the Headley only putting the county on if the conglomerate of the townships, the county and the intermediate school district does not pass on this May. And then, so we would just have the one, be just the county, on the August ballot. If the Headley doesn't pass for me with the 3 of them on there. Any motion?
Well, just if I could, just so how this would work, given the timing of when the language has to be to the clerk. There's still time to discuss each of these at committee of the whole next week and then pass a resolution at your second regular meeting of the month. And plenty of time then to have notice to the clerk to get these on the ballot. I would have a question though for the clerk is if we do the backup, if the Headley were to not be approved on May 7th. If the board makes a motion at the end of the month to put this alternative plan on in August, can they still rescind it after April 30th? Or is there a commitment that it's got to be on the ballot no matter what?
I will find out
Good
that.
question.
If I can't do it before the end of the meeting, I will find out from the state as soon as we leave here and.
Again, we've got next week yet to talk about it too, so that's what I think we'd want to know.
Let me look through the calendar. And if not, then I will find out
What does it say? under that?
everything after
I
the.
see that.
Good question.
What are we doing in November? We putting everything that fails, we putting on November?
April 30th's got to be the verbiage for the August ballot. In November, there's nothing on there, and that's August 13th. The verbiage has to be on there. 'Cause I couldn't remember, so I put it on the top of these, this right here. That's when the stuff's got to be submitted.
Right.
Yeah.
What are we holding November for everything that fails during the year or what?
Well,
What are we doing for November?
Well,
Is that too far out to ask?
that's
another
an election
topic,
for.
I guess probably next week will have to be on the agenda is also the jail millage. Cause
Right.
that's right along with this, right?
It is.
For August.
My comment is this, when you talk about the jail. Speaking with others in Ogemaw County. If that thing's on there for the jail, it will probably be detrimental to these other 4 millages, like the veterans, a small millage, but it could be detrimental to every millage that's on that ballot.
Well, I think, can I make a comment?
Yes, mhm.
Well, I think. To kind of go off of what you're saying there, it really depends, I think, what we would set the millage at. I know you're a strong believer at 2.5 mils. That would be definitely, I think, causing issues for the other millages as well. So that's a
It would, but-
conversation that we need to have.
I understand. We'll have the discussion later then. I'm just bringing it up.
Right, right.
That's a possibility. And there are but you know, since we'll wait that for that committee as a whole meeting to discuss it.
I think that goes on what Tim was saying earlier in these weeks. You know, we have a very important meeting with a lot of very important topics.
I know that.
And this is gonna be a big conversation.
Yes, it will be.
I got a question.
Yes.
Is the veterans millage, is the verbiage already written for that?
I intend to, present to you the language that's been adopted in the past, but that's going to be subject to review from our legal counsel. And for each of these, they've tweaked them. There's been some item that we needed to add or take out. So the intention is, yes, that'll be the language you see. It'll be reviewed by council for consistency with the various statutes that go with it. So then the final language you'll see a week from next Thursday.
How about EMS? Charlie, you sit on committee, are they already written the verbiage for the motion?
I believe, okay, Paul, didn't we have, we took a look at it at our last meeting and I think we're pretty much set on the verbiage, correct?
Yeah, Justin went and found a comparable one to build off of, so we should have something to be able to provide to the attorney this week, next week's meeting.
Oh, you still gotta provide it to the attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so then there's no action to take then.
Okay.
Well. Your 8:30 appointment showed up
Right on time.
at that time.
We're ready.
Oh, you can sit right up front.
3 seats.
Or you can sit right in front.
Yeah, sit right up front. Don't worry about the wires with the chair.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Right.
Good morning. So on the eve of Crime Victims' Right Week, the Ogemaw County Prosecutor's Office likes to shine a spotlight on a group in Ogemaw County that helps victims and just members of our community as a whole. These are people whose works are helping our community, specifically in this case, kids, into nurturing them to grow into healthy and strong members. Now, I want to introduce Karina O'Dowd and Scott Walker, who are representing a very important group called the Ogemaw County, Child Protective Fund. The Ogemaw County Child Protective Council is a multidisciplinary task force. Its members are usually made up of people that are working in some type of field that is benefiting children. Both Scott and Karina work for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. 99% of their members are all volunteer. They only have one paid person. And that person is responsible for writing grants. And the cost to them, the cost for that person is extremely minimum. So most of their monies are not going for administrative. Everything is going directly to the kids here in Ogemaw County. They're funded by something called the Children's Trust. So I don't know if you go to the Secretary of State and you can see there's one of the license plates that you can buy that says, you know, helping kids, or if you buy that plate, a certain percentage of it will stay in Ogemaw County, goes to the Child Protective Council. Also, if you pay your taxes and you check the box saying that you want a certain amount of money to go from your taxes to go to the Child Trust Fund, that money will come back here too. But there's such a need in our community for different programming that this group goes way above and beyond of the monies that they get through that funding source. They write grants, they fundraise, and as a result, they support people like me, the Ogemaw County Prosecutor, and other organizations like the Optimist, when we go out and do programming to benefit our community. I just want to talk about some of the things that they do. The first off, they do the countywide baby shower. They fund us because I can guarantee that the Ogemaw County Prosecutor's Office doesn't have a line item for a baby shower. But it's important because the #1 killer of kids under the age of 1 in Ogemaw County has always been unsafe sleep practices. There's something called the Child Death Review Team, and every child under the age of 18 that dies in Ogemaw County or is a resident of Ogemaw County and maybe is taken to Saginaw and passes away, this team reviews that death. And we do it for a couple of reasons. One is we gather the statistics on it and send it to the legislature. So like you, part of the legislative branch, they can make laws to protect our kids. In Michigan, you can't sell pajamas unless they're flame retardant. That came from research from the child death review teams. Those sensors on garage doors now, that you can't buy a garage door without a sensor. You know, kids were getting caught underneath them and suffocating. So that legislation came up directly out of child death review. The other thing that child death review is that we can focus on what's harming our kids, you know, what's killing our kids locally, and then we can program to try to prevent it and stop it. And since we've had such a problem with unsafe sleep here in Ogemaw, and Iosco County, believe it, per capita was the #1 in the state of Michigan. We decided to put on a baby shower. And the point of the baby shower is not just to give parents things that they may need, like diapers and wipes and car seats and all that other stuff, although they get all that. Give them a safe sleep area so they all get a pack and play, you know, when they come, safe sleep stacks. But they watch a video and we teach them safe sleep practices. I can tell you, because of the Child Protective Council, as a member of the Child Death Review Team, I can now report that unsafe sleep is not our #1 killer anymore. It's natural causes for kids under the age of 1. And I think that is directly a result of the work that this organization is doing. Our program was noted statewide. We were asked to present statewide for our baby shower. And now I can tell you that Iosco County has adopted baby showers as well as Aranet County. So it's spreading, and the goal is obviously to stop any type of preventable death of a young child. In Ogemaw County, it's become so popular that now the Child Protective Council sponsors two. One here in West Branch and one in the Prescott Skidway Lake area every year. This year, it was the second annual in Prescott, and they had over 14 moms, which was wonderful. So, and some other things that they do is at the Options Resource Clinic, they stock a baby pantry. They promote car seat safety year-round. They are the ones that you will see out at the county fair, where people can pull in and they'll check their car seats. If it needs to be replaced, they'll replace it with technicians that have been certified to put those car seats in there safely, which they pay for the training, and it's not cheap for those technicians too. And if we can't get any car seats from the state, they purchase them out of their own funds. There's something called a resource help card that all of our victims get. And a lot of, if Jenny was here, I'm sure she has them in her office. So a lot of people in the public hand out those cards. So it's not just my office, it's, anyone in Ogemaw County. Brenda, you've seen them, you picked them up, those resource cards that tells you, if you are suicidal, or if you're a victim of domestic violence, or if you have some mental health issues, or if you want to contact the schools. So they put all that information for people together. So if they need to reach out, they have an opportunity to do that. They also, to reduce truancy in our schools, fund the Pathways to Potential project. They offer babysitting classes. They buy safe sleep sacks for the OB department at the hospital. They do classes for adults to build family self-confidence. They do Maxwell therapy, which I think that has to do with the horses, right? So kids that are special needs, they are able to go out and ride horses and get some therapy. They also, kind of on the fun side, are responsible for the baby contest at the Victorian Art Fair. That's just a few of the things that they do, but I'm sure you can all agree that what they do is important. And even though they don't have the spotlight usually shined on them, they should, because they're a great organization. Again, mostly volunteers, and they're doing a lot behind the scenes to keep our community safe and healthy. So with that, I would like to hand Karina and Scott the Spotlight Award.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for all that you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, commissioners, they said that they would answer any questions that you have about their organization.
Any questions?
What's your titles?
With the Child Protection Council, I'm the treasurer.
Okay.
Then with the Department of Health and Human Services, I'm the program manager over child welfare
Oh,
And where's your office?
here in Ogemaw County.
Where?
Right by the baseball field.
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yep, and I chair the Child Protection Council, and I'm a Children's Services Supervisor with the Department of Health and Human Services.
oh, okay. All right. That's great.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's a few things she highlighted that I was unaware of.
yeah, and a couple of years ago, we also did we had a grant wrote and supplied life jackets to youth in our county.
Oh, I remember that.
And the leftovers we had provided to the Marine Patrol, so that during holiday weekends or when they're out patrolling, they could provide those life jackets to those that maybe they stop and
Sure.
don't have those life jackets. So
Good idea.
Nice.
that was
Awesome.
another thing.
It was actually a result of some drownings that actually occurred in Iosco County. that we wanted to prevent in Ogemaw. And so again, they're being proactive
Oh,
and use some grant funds to purchase those life jackets. And they built a stand. It's beautiful. What lake is it again? I forgot.
I believe it's at the Rifle River Rec.
At the Rifle, it's a beautiful wooden rack so that people can, if they forgot their life jackets for kids, they can take them, use them, and then put them back. And the program is working wonderful.
Oh, nice.
Great.
Other thing I didn't mention either was they just got a grant from the United Way and they purchased a thermometer for inside a car. And you will see it at the Ogemaw County Fair. I think they plan on bringing it to the Fun in the Sun in Skidway Lake. And I think they're gonna start bringing it maybe to the schools, like maybe on a parent teachers day or a baseball game or something like that, which reminds parents how hot it can get inside a car and not to leave their children in the car even if they're running into Walmart's for a few minutes.
That's really important because it gets hot very quickly in a car and people have no idea how quickly that happens, and it doesn't take long.
Right, so again, they're being proactive in trying to educate people so that we don't have an accidental death of a child getting overheated and succumbing to that.
And we do car seat checks as well as provide car seats to those in need, even outside of fair time. So they can we get contacted frequently, and so does Trooper Noble and Jeremy with the Option Resource Center.
How many volunteers?
We around 20.
All different levels of
Yeah.
volunteers. Well, let me tell you, this day and age, we're running out of volunteers and every organization out there, and I gotta tell you, I applaud. I hear you got full-time jobs, and I imagine your family people. I mean, it's just anybody that'll volunteer. I mean, we're just losing them in every facet of life anymore, you know? It's, I don't know. I don't wanna say generational, but back when I was younger, there was a lot of, at the volunteer fire department, we used to turn the help down because we got so much. Now it's just the other way around. So thank you. Thanks for taking that time, the extra time.
I have one more comment. You brought up a good point there. What people don't understand is when you volunteer for organizations like this, or organizations that help the community, it leaves you with a good feeling inside. So if you really want to feel good about yourself, I would suggest that people, when you have time, volunteer for an organization, because it's so uplifting, what you could do for others, in your community. And, it's something you really can't explain, but it's an internal feeling. And it is a good feeling. So, and there is a lot of younger people that do not volunteer. And that's sad because it is so uplifting when you do that. And you don't understand it until you do it. And then once or twice you volunteer for organizations that help others, you will see what a difference it makes within yourself, inside. And it is a big difference. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you do.
Can I say one thing too?
Yes.
Thank you guys, both you, like Commissioner Scott said, it just seems in this day and age, just nobody wants to step up anymore. Nobody wants to take time. So really appreciate what you guys do. As Commissioner Liaison with DHHS, I've really learned a lot of what you guys do for our county residents. And it's greatly appreciated. You guys really help a lot of our residents that really need that extra help. Thank you, and also thank you to LaDonna for bringing this to us so we can see this, you know. Normally on every week, we see a lot of negative and we're trying to put out a lot of fires and try to fix a lot of things, so it's nice to hear these things.
A lot of people use the programming. I know like even at the fair with the car seats, I mean, they're just lined up. But I don't think a lot of people realize, you know, where the money's coming from and where the volunteers are coming from. So I think it's important to shine a spotlight on groups like this that do make our world so much better.
100%.
And one other comment, since I've been on college boards, about giving scholarships and stuff. I was in California. When you volunteer, it goes a long way when you are applying for scholarships at universities and community college, et cetera. Because that shows you, that you're more of a leader and not a follower. That you will take the initiative, get out there to help others. And that's what a leader does. So we always look very closely at organizations they'd volunteer for when we do those scholarships. Not just grades. We looked at the whole person. And that was part of the whole person. So it helps to get scholarships when you volunteer for organizations. And you can put that on your resume, so to speak. Just a thought.
Well, thank you for your time. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And don't forget to check your taxes that you don't mind money going to the child trust fund or buy that special plate. And I think they will always take a donation. They won't turn it down. So
And where do you go when you say donations? Where would you go and would you write the check to, or?
you can make it out to the Child Protective Council and you can give it directly to any of the board members, which would
So
be
then I go
Cody,
down-
Scott, or even Jesse. Jesse's also a board member of my office.
That makes it easier for us here.
Mhm.
So easy's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and we have a number of local businesses that support our cause also, so. We
Thank
thank
you.
them, and they're a huge part of what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good
Thank
day.
you.
I'm like the sheriff, I actually have to get back to work.
That's how rumors get started, huh?
All right. What a nice program. Is there any unfinished business? I think we've covered everything else.
Claims.
Claims. Oh, I crossed it off completely. Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Claims. The claims is,
I did. I make a motion to pay him.
support.
Support.
Jenny
Anything
did
unusual?
review them, I do believe.
Pardon me?
Jenny did review them as well.
I know she did.
Yeah.
Sunday, wasn't it? Sunday. They reviewed them Sunday. Did you see anything that stood out or just normal? Okay. I need a motion to pass the claims in the amount of $138,051.62.
I make a motion.
I'll support it.
That is the final one. It's not the 100, it's 138, it's not 143. Is I correct? Mr. O'Hanley, because it looks like,
highlighted in yellow.
yeah.
Uh,
138.
Higher amount has already been.
Yeah, the 143 number includes the prepaid.
That needs approved, right?
I think you need the
Blanking right
143.
now. I think it's the 143.
Okay, so it's $143,654 $6 to include the prepaid that have been done too.
It is 100% the 143.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Do we have a motion and a second? Roll call, please.
Charles Wiltie.
Yes.
Brenda Simmons.
Yes.
Rick Scott.
Yes.
Roger Mayhew.
Yep.
Okay. Motion passed. Now we have,
Administrative control. Report.
yes, Administrative Controllers Report. I'm sorry, I crossed that one off. I was looking at elected officials already and I knew I missed one. Mr. Delahanty, please.
The written report is on your iPads. It was kind of a short turnaround from our last meeting, but a couple of the highlights. biggest one, probably one that's most unusual for my schedule, is the attending of the township meetings to talk about the requests that we have on the May 7th ballot. Those have been very good meetings from my perspective. I don't generally get out to these township meetings where they've had, in a lot of cases, a couple of dozen people showing up, and very good questions coming in. It's been, somewhat gratifying to be able to help explain some of this and make sure everybody operates from the level of knowledge of what this request is really all about. But I'm getting a lot of other questions too about just general county business, which is kind of nice too. So it tells me we've got a lot of people out there who are engaged in what we're doing, and it's a bit rewarding to see that happening. The only other thing to report that's not in there is we had a department head meeting on Monday, which was yesterday. This seems like so long ago, but anyway, really going over a lot of the things that have been discussed here in decisions. We talked about animals in this building and the rules that apply here. The department heads were given a heads up about the potential change in your meeting schedule, so there's some awareness there. The only difference being the meetings will be here, but really needing to make sure everybody understood our meetings are going to be 5:30 from here till the foreseeable future. You see on the item 11, you got about 6 different department reports. So I did remind departments about making sure that their monthly reports were turned in, but you can see it's really taken hold. And I think this is something you'll see for the foreseeable future. I did express to the departments how much you appreciate seeing those reports, so that when you are out at the townships, you have a good working knowledge of what's going on in the various parts of the county. And it's just good information for you to have anyway, just so that you've got a good feel for what's happening here. And then finally, one other item that will be on your committee of the whole meeting next week is the budget calendar for fiscal year 2025. So here we go. We did have very good discussion at the budget committee meeting last week about some of our trends and things that we need to keep an eye on. First action item that you'll see coming out of that calendar is the annual fee schedule. We had a lot of amendments to that fee schedule over the years, so you'll see finally a composite picture of all the fees that we have. I was able to relate to the departments that according to our audit for fiscal year 23, the funding brought in from fees generated from departments was about $125,000 less than it was in fiscal year 22. Now, there could be any number of reasons why that happened. It could be an uptick maybe in deeds that were being filed. It might have been a higher demand for maybe zoning permits or something like that that goes from year to year. The number itself wasn't all that alarming. We see that kind of fluctuation usually in that group of revenue from year to year, but it is alerting us again that it is important for us all to look at those fee schedules and to make sure that we're charging the appropriate amount. Either it's too high or too low. Now's a chance to get in there and get that taken care of. And then that helps us as we do our budget planning moving forward. So that you'll see on the agenda, you'll just see the calendar on the agenda next week. The fee schedules you'll actually see in June, but departments are on notice now to start looking at those and thinking about any changes that they might want to propose. And otherwise, you see most of my activities in the other report. So field any questions if there are any.
Any questions from anyone?
No, I have none.
Thank you very much. Elected official department and head reports. Do we have building inspectors? I was looking at the reports of building inspections. That was interesting to see. Was interesting. Is building here today? Nope. Building? No. But that was on our little iPad here, and it was interesting to see what kind of permits that were pulling out. Electrical, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was interesting. So thank you for that report. Department of Human Services Board.
They sent their report to a spreadsheet of where they are on their budget for the year, but it's a little bit of detail on where some of that funding goes.
Thank you. Information technology. No.
He's on the call. Tom, did you
Tom?
want to say something?
I have nothing to add to my report that I submitted to you.
I have the report here. Thank you very much. It's right there. Register deeds. Any report? It's also on here.
Yeah, all these are written reports are there.
I was looking at that yesterday. Um, Sheriff's Office Corrections Report.
Yeah, that's submitted. I'm gonna work on getting the statistics on the roads. See if that's not in there, but I'll work on it and get that to you.
So you're using roadside trash pickups now too, right? Now that weather's turning.
I have to suspend that because of the part-time, because of the layoffs. So I'll have to suspend that this year.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. I didn't know that. Okay,
I have an update.
yes, clerk. Oh, I don't. Sorry.
Your Ogemaw County Clerk, Brett Gildner. I was not able to find that information in the calendar, so I sent an email to the Bureau with you on copy. Hopefully we'll get that information back and then we can share that. There are 8 out of the 19 jurisdictions that have a backside to the ballot. And I have a list. I can give it to you after.
Thank you.
So it's half of them. So,
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah. The townships are beginning their testing, the ballot testing. That will be next, in a week and a half, they start that. I am programming all of the media this week. We are super close to the May election being done. So everything's been pretty smooth, even with the consolidating, the 2 Gladwin County townships that are on West Branch Rose City School District.
Mhm.
They're consolidating into Edwards Township. And then there's an Oscoda Township,
And they're going to Rose City, are they not?
the city of Rose City.
Yes.
Yep.
I read that.
Everything, yep, everything's been smooth so far with everything, so. Things are good right now. And then my staffing, we have narrowed it down to 2 people. We'll have a final decision this week. So things are looking up in that department. Megan has started in probate yesterday. So we're down the 1 person, but I'm not asking anybody to go up to 40 hours temporary or anything. We're just kind of all chipping in right now and making it work.
Good, thank you.
That's it.
Anyone else have any comments?
Treasurer. She's on the list.
Oh, she is on the list, sorry.
My investment reports are on your iPad, including your investment safety. So you can see that your investments are safely invested and protected. I give you a breakdown for the risk ratings for each of the banks. And then of course our collateralized funds that are at Michigan class, which is a pooled fund with a very good rate of return. That's all I have for you today.
Well, you're doing such a great job with the land bank. Is there any more updates on the land bank?
The land bank right now, I'm still waiting for DTE to cut and cap the Rose City property. They're holding, unfortunately, the utility wrecking service is holding up my demo project in Rose City. So I'm hoping DTE will get that done this week and hopefully the contractor will get to work.
All right, thank you.
I did foreclose on 29 properties. I'd given you an update going into the holiday weekend. I was at 63. We did get that down to 29. I called everyone I could get a hold of to remind them. And going that extra mile really helped people realize the deadline was serious on foreclosure, and we got it down to 29.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah,
Can I-
one was a house on Lake Ogemaw. The taxpayer was actually and had a medical emergency with her husband and was too overwhelmed to really pay attention to her bills and didn't realize that her permanent residence was headed to foreclosure, and yeah, we got her
Wow,
to pay her bill on time and saved a home on Lake Ogemaw from being foreclosed on. So those phone calls really helped this year.
nice, thank you for going that extra mile.
Can I say something to?
Yes,
Tomorrow you guys have your land bank meeting, correct?
The 17th. I was a week ahead of my schedule.
Oh, so it's next week.
It's the 17th.
Okay,
I sent you a packet.
okay, yeah, I said
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I was ahead of my schedule. When I glanced at the calendar, I sent it out Friday and said, see you next week. Well, maybe next week.
Okay,
It's
all right,
the
well,
17th.
I'm gonna try to attend that because, with our housing committee, obviously you've been talking with Lenny Avery with the Northeast Housing
For about an hour.
Partnership and so there's some real potential there with us having a formed land bank, with us having a housing committee, which is really rare, especially for the 11 county area. I think there's only 3 other counties. So we have some real good opportunity there. So we got 2 meetings coming up here this month. So we're getting a little aggressive on that and we'll stay in touch with you. And hopefully maybe you can make one of our meetings as well.
Certainly, yep, and I have Lenny's information, he sent me some presentation material that'll be included in my packet from my land bank.
Perfect. Thank you, Karen.
Yes, you're welcome.
thank you. Any matters, we already said matters from the floor, there wasn't anybody from the floor. Okay. We don't have any motions for adoption, do we?
Nope.
Commission reports, opioid settlement committee.
We have a meeting coming up this Thursday. I made some comments at our last meeting, regarding we're
Yep.
really starting to get in kind of, you could call the meat and the potatoes of it. We've got the assistance with MSU. She was hopefully last Thursday gonna start having some face-to-face meetings here in Ogemaw County. It was kind of a quick turnaround and we weren't able to get enough people, but she is gonna reschedule and we'll have those face-to-face, meetings. And then we're also just getting out to our peer groups right now to start getting our surveys answered so we can really start seeing what we're really finding out for our county, what our biggest needs are. Again, the main thing we want to do is, we don't want to just sit back on this, but yet also we want to make sure that the money's going to something that's going to be created to last a long time, just not a real quick impact and then it's gone. So,
I've heard positive comments about that also, about not rushing in.
yeah, we've got some really smart people that have been consistently either joining the meetings or on the board. And that's great to see because those are the people that we need to really help push us forward and make the right decisions.
Yeah. So, yeah, no rash decision. They like that.
Right.
How you guys are doing that.
Good.
Do anything, you're up again on housing, anything on, updates on housing?
Kind of, I've been saying quite a bit on that as well. We just have some real good opportunities here in front of us. We have 2 meetings this month because we realize that the opportunities are only going to be there for so long. So we're trying to get some things set up here this month and then hopefully, possibly in May, we'll have a real big meeting sent out for local contractors from other counties can, come and find a little more of what we're trying to put together.
The other night,
You have one on the 16th and the 23rd. What time are they?
They're both at noon, correct? No,
I think that we moved one to 4 o'clock. It might be both of them. I'll have to look at my notes.
yeah, I'll get that information to you. Yeah, Roger?
Commissioner Mayhew?
the other night on the news, I was watching the governor, the whole spiel on this housing deal. But she changed hers, and I don't know if it's a different one than the one you got, but from middle income to low income housing.
Yeah, we're not totally specific just to middle income. We're looking into all options, but we know that there's a huge need for middle income housing here in the county. We really feel that probably the best bang for our buck right now would be building single family homes, 1,000-1,200 square foot, 2-3 bedroom homes, two bath. If we can get the price right, we feel that's probably going to be our best bet.
But it makes a lot of difference if it's low income or if it's middle income.
That makes a difference, yes, when it comes to the possibility of the grants and the funding from the state.
But I just know on the news, that's what she said.
Mhm.
Okay,
Just a comment I have, on this, housing through the state. My understanding is, for our contractors to try to draw contractors into, to do building, be it middle class or low class, that, the state's willing to give, no property taxes on, for these units. Is that correct?
That's a possible option. I know Tim had talked about that at a couple of the township meetings we're going to, so there's another area that we could see a loss of revenue because of that, but obviously, you know, if you create, you know, they're saying in the last big survey done for the county that we could literally build 900 homes right now. That's what they're saying we're short of. So obviously that for, if say 50% of those don't pay taxes for a certain amount of time is yes, we are losing that income, but the big picture of that is we're creating that property value for years and years and years and years and years to come. So it's kind of a little bit of give and take. But I don't know if I don't think that's gonna be the case for every single property. I mean, again, I think that depends upon the low income or if it's medium income, and there's a lot of ratios of where you need to be considered one or the other. And then it's just a matter of if you can make the numbers right for, you know, because our building costs are still so high.
And I understand that, and I, you know, I like the contractors to come and build those things. The only thing that bothers me is that when there isn't any, property taxes paid on that, we still, as a county, had to provide, law enforcement, we had to provide fire protection, we had to provide ambulance services. And the county pays for all those services, and they pay that through property taxes and millages. So that's also taken into there that those items won't be paid for either, if they give them a break on those property taxes. So there's not just us. It's all the services that this county provides also that they won't be paying for. And that is a real concern of mine.
Oh, absolutely. That's just like we talk about the DDAs, you know, we're providing services for there where that's money we're not capturing.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, just some thoughts.
No, it's good.
Anybody else have any comments about that? Okay. Law Enforcement Committee.
Go ahead. You're on a roll.
We had a good law enforcement meeting, last Thursday. Very consistent, first Thursday of the month after our meetings, commission meetings. Just going over all topics. You know, from conversations with the costs for the jail to, you know, where we're sitting, because we know we're shorthanded with patrol officers, and, you know, the sheriff and the undersheriff are working really hard trying to find good quality candidates, but just like here and everywhere else, candidates aren't there. So that's a challenge that they have. They're working on hopefully having a few candidates that could possibly get into the academy in the fall. So hopefully that'll come together. But that's, you know, obviously a little ways away.
Now in the academy, do the people that are participating in the academy, do they pay for that? Does the county pay for that? Who pays for that? Academy.
We're looking at options with MCOs currently has a bank of money that they're using to
Oh, okay.
supply, and then we've had good luck with Michigan Works. Michigan
Works, yeah.
Well, they've supplied some salary coverage, so we're hoping that this project that we're trying to get put together would be covered from those two funding sources, so we wouldn't have too much of a burden on the county finances.
How much does it cost to attend that academy? Do you know right off the top of your head? And that could change too from year to year.
It's $8,000-9,000 for just the training academy itself.
And how long does that last? That training academy?
17 weeks. They start in August, they'd be out December.
And where do they go for that?
Well, there's multiple different ones, but we utilize Delta there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. County Commissioners? Commissioner Scott?
I haven't attended any meetings since the last commissioner meeting, so I don't have anything.
Commissioner Mayhew?
Nothing.
I attended two township meetings last night. My last one lasted kind of late. And there were some issues there's one issue with Horton Township and two with Edwards Township, and I took care of them last night. The appropriate people have been notified and they're being handled, so I feel really good about that. So
So, for me, this is this time of the month where I've got 99% of my, committees and appointments still to come up. But, last week I was at Richland and Churchill Township on Monday night. Logan on, Hill on Tuesday and then Logan on Wednesday. And then last night I attended Rose Township, and I'm basically just going there to answer questions regarding Headley. Talk a little bit about the EDC as a board member there as well. And then tonight we have Mills Township, which is gonna be a very big meeting with, I know a lot of our constituents are gonna be there, and Tim will be there, and I know a lot of people have questions for him regarding the Headley.
and that's important. Those meetings are very important to relay the correct information, what's going on with the millages. And last night I gave a presentation to two townships, Horton and also Edwards Township. So they better understand what these millages are for. The one thing I did not have on there was the library millage, but on some of those ballots, the library millage is on the back. So when people vote in May, please look at both sides of your ballot, because there may be something on the back of it. And we don't want you to miss anything. And make sure you have a vote on all the items that are on that ballot. We have received, the committee has received one letter from a taxpayer. And the secretary received it, and I was given a copy, and I went to that person's home yesterday and explained to him about the millages. And the way it's written on the ballot, we didn't have a choice. We have to put it on the ballot the way it is. It's a total misunderstanding of what these millages are. And when I explained to him, when he wrote that letter, he was a little upset, but he was very kind about being upset, but you could tell he was not happy. And he's on board with these millages now, because now he knows the real story. And it's important that people get with the county administrator, or get with your county commissioner, or get with the clerk, or get with the treasurer. And if you have any questions, just call them, come to the county building and ask them questions. I'm always available. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. People think they know, but they do not know. And this individual that I visited yesterday thought he knew. And because the way it's on the ballot, they construe it to something else. Because when I look at that Headley thing, it says 8.5 mils. That says to me and to other people that we're going to charge 8.5 mils more. We're going to tax you 8.5 mils more, and that's not true. We just want to bring the millage back up to 8.5 mils, and that total millage would be 1.5 mils, just so we can get our revenue back to where it was, so we can pay for the services we provide. And it was, but it was rolled back because of the Headley. And we've had, and it says, indefinite. Well, it's been indefinite for a long time. These millages have been indefinite for 40 years. So we just want it back to where they were. And so, and only the taxpayers can reinstate it to what the original millage was. But the state can just, through the Headley, can just keep whittling away at our millages. So we, people say live within your means. Well, we'd like to have some of our means back. And that's why this is on the ballot. So we're not charging people another 8.5 mils. So we wanted to bring back up to that point, and it would increase for all those three entities would be about 1.5 mils is all it is. So I just wanted to clarify that. Anybody else have any comments? No comments. Any comments from the public? Any comments on Zoom? No public comment. I need a motion for adjournment, please.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I support.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, commissioners.
Have a good day, everyone. Have a good day, Brett.
No one.
Did she say it in public to everybody?
Um,
I don't-